Hey guys, we have another Barrister and Mann soap today using the same blade and razor that we used yesterday, and we're going to bring in a new brush, the Semogue Torga C5, and it's the premium grade bristles that they have, a boar brush, uh, and it is one they brought out in maybe last year or something, and it has a little bit lower loft than by ratio than many of the Semogues, and so it's kind of a little bit of a departure, and there are definitely some people who really like it. It's scrubby and doesn't have as much, it's got backbone, but the tips are, we're at maybe the 25th use now, and the tips have gotten nice, and it took a little bit of uses to get to that point, since it started out just with so much, for a boar, relative density and just stiffness, and so it's it's still got a long ways to go because the tips aren't splitting. The majority have not split, and but that's normal for Semogues and many boar brushes. However, it's comfortable at this point to use. I've had it soaking for, I don't know, 15 minutes, 20 minutes maybe, and that should be plenty enough time to kind of get him ready for the shave. Again, today I'm using my That's a Bowl. It's a 1.4 liter, and it doesn't break when you drop it. It's a Tupperware bowl, and I forgot my usual bowl during this trip, and so I went in the kitchen, and I found this one. Yesterday, or earlier today, I looked to see if this bowl was available online. Nothing jumped out at me right away that was the individual bowl. It was such that you had to buy a whole set. So anyway, I really liked it. It worked really well yesterday. So I'm sure it'll be fine today too. All right. And since I shaved yesterday, we're just dealing with a 24-hour growth on my stubble. And let's go ahead and take the Sabre. We will be using this blade again, and this is the 16th shave now, I checked. And I do have the level 2 base plate, and it is the polished version, and the rest of the razor is the matte, or the machined version, as Blackland usually likes to call it, dropping the gem PTFE blade on the top cap there. And as you screw it in, as I've been saying this whole time, just keep it level, keep it in line, and if it does bind, just be gentle at first and then back it off and try again. All right. Get my face wet, and then we can load up on this wonderful Soft Heart Hallows soap. Oh, the cool weather is ebbing away. We're about to get into the warmth of summer and spring, and while I do love to use Hallows year round, it's especially nice when there's a bit of a chill around in this season before we get into the warmer times. So I wanted to go ahead and squeeze a use in before it was too late. Get my face wet now. And let's load up. Let's just do 20 seconds. I'm going to shake. This brush doesn't hold a lot of water. Actually, maybe for a boar it kind of does, but shake out much of it. 20 seconds. We're starting at 53. 20 is a nice even, nice round number. So we'll go to 53 to 03 to 13. Just medium pressure. Medium to light, and there we go. So good. And we'll just start working it in the bowl. I meant to go get my Spearhead razor travel case for you guys like I told you I would last shave, and I just didn't make it out to my car today. Sorry. Let's bend you down and we've started to work the lather a little bit. Why not add a teaspoon? The smell is wafting up to my nose. Very enjoyable. Almost like a chocolate type scent, along with the woody notes and the like oud like notes. I'm sorry, it's a little hard to see with this white bowl. Big news about the soft heart base. If you missed my last shave, I believe I mentioned it there. 2 teaspoons now in the lather. Will has figured out a tweak to make to the soft heart base. The PP8, Purple Possum 8, is what it originally was called when it was first sent out to some testers who loved it so much that even though Will chose Excelsior as the main base for his products, he did, and I think that's why he called it the soft heart, was because people liked the PP8 so much that he brought it around in limited runs. Well, he was nice about that. It was a really good way to do it because he was valuing his customers and their money, because he didn't want to make everything available in PP8 because PP8 just didn't last very long to many users. They went through it pretty quickly. And he didn't want to do that to people. But he figured out a way to change the lye ratio in his soap making. This is looking pretty good. Not a whole lot of it right here, but I think it'll be fine. And he now has a soft heart that pretty much has the same ingredients, just different lye ratios, what I gathered from what he said. 3 teaspoons now in this lather. And he's accomplished the wonderful lather that people love, but in a longer lasting soap base that people with limited pocketbooks are going to love as well. And I believe he said he was going to make that, he was thinking about making that the main base instead of Excelsior. Kind of pull it down here. I'm pretty sure we got plenty of water in there. Who knows, maybe even too much. But to be honest, what I did was I looked at this quantity of lather and I decided I'm going to put a little bit more water in there. If it ends up too watery, that's okay. I'll expect that. And I'll just go back to the puck and increase the soap content that way if I need to. If this ends up to kind of cause skipping with the razor or be a little bit too thin. All right, get a little bit more water on my face, and oh yeah, the post shave for today is try this soap, Liniment from Declaration Grooming. I really enjoy that scent and the performance of that Liniment. I'm going to straighten you out there. All right, so these tips are nice and soft. They started out quite scrubby. Now because of the shorter loft here, you do kind of feel those soft tips. And then if you press a little bit more, you start to feel the, and I am going to have to go to the soap tub for this. So just a little bit. Always get more if we need to, but if you get too much when you go back to the tub, then you've got to add water back to your lather. Yeah, look at that. So the tips here, if you press, then you do start to feel the kind of the bottom half of the shafts of the bristles and you feel that backbone. But on top of that backbone are these very nice tips, and you get a very soft scrub. And I'm so glad that I bought this brush, because there aren't any other really Semogues that do this. Nice solid handle here. It's a short handle, but it's got some girth to it. And this saddle here near the bottom, easily, as you can see, I've got some suds around on the handle. I've got a good firm grip on it. If you can tell, this texture is usually indicative of a soap that needs a little bit more water. So I'm going to do that. Just a little bit. Tell you what, sometimes when you have a lather that just needs a little bit more water, when you add that, tell you, sometimes the difference is just astounding, and all of a sudden your lather changes. And you wouldn't think that such a small change would do that, but it just does. Sometimes when you're that close. Yeah, see, this doesn't look as pasty now. I've added another ½ teaspoon, it looks like. And look, see, the lather's starting to build up around the edges here. I'm glad I'm adding the water. Oh man, I forgot how good this brush feels. He's been sitting in my queue for my borathon. He's in my list of brushes boar brushes that I am raising up in sequence. I use each one, and then I start the cycle over again so that I can watch them all grow and watch their differences. Unfortunately, it means slow going on many of those, where I'm just take a while before I really see them come into that beautiful place where the majority of tips are split. Oh, this feels so good, this lather. I got it into a good place here. And while thinking about that, I'm going to go ahead and just kind of mix it up here in the bowl. Try to integrate the newer stuff with that's in the brush with the other stuff in the bowl. So I chose my Semogue Owners Club with a Taj handle to be the boar that I use more often than others. It's not in the rotation, the tight rotation of the borathon, and so he is going to be the one that I try to use more and get into that magical land of ultimate tip splittage. All right, man, this lather feels great. The smell is wonderful. And my angle here is fairly small, smaller than I go in terms of the blade with the skin. Definitely smaller than I use when I shave with a DE blade, a double-edged blade. I enjoyed the Sabre a lot. It definitely gives you a different experience. I don't know that I'd miss it a whole lot if I had to give it up, because I just really enjoy the DE blades out there. It offers, I guess I don't need to repeat myself. You can kind of get a little bit of the difference that this blade offers by buying some injectors. This reminds me a little bit more of the injector razors than it does like the 1912 and the Gem Junior, those types of razors that do use the same exact blade. The injectors don't use this blade, but they just have such a firm feel and a lot of control and smoothness to them that the other 1912 and the more traditional single edges don't. During that first pass, as you saw, I went back to the tub and got a few seconds more of loading. Now I could have just gone back to the bowl to get more lather, but I was remembering that I had not generated just tons and tons of lather, and so that's why I just went straight to the tub. Yeah, this brush is so nice, and it's just going to get softer as the tips keep splitting. I don't think I'd mind if this was my only brush. If I was stranded somewhere or something. This bowl was working out great. I didn't get my hands overly messy as I whipped up that lather. The only disadvantage, of course, is there's no place to put the brush where it doesn't sink down into the lather. Cross grain now. And 16th use, going very well. The first few uses definitely cut me a little closer. Got higher performance, and so I could definitely see some people who always wanted to keep that same quality, and so they may not go much further than 5 uses. Personal preference. And just excellent control here. Confidence in the razor, a solid feel. You don't feel like you're going to mess yourself up unless you just do something stupid. And even then, it's probably going to be pretty forgiving. Face feels great, no irritation or anything like that. And third pass. Glad to put another use on this little brush, and really happy that it's reminding me how enjoyable it is. Might as well dip down and add more lather. The pass is kind of thin here, but you can dry your face between passes if you want it to thicken up just a little bit, but you don't really need a thick layer to get a great shave. This is protecting the skin very well with its slickness. Oh yeah, just tremendous. Feels great. Feels like a blend of a buttery kind of slickness with a oily kind, but kind of silky. It's kind of hard to describe because of that, because it's kind of hitting everything just right, at least the way I like it. I will turn the razor around and do this area. From the bottom, and that helps to get my trouble area in about as good as I can get it without going against the grain. There are techniques like J-hooking that you can use to try to get certain areas that are troubling you. You can do slants where instead of, let's say my stroke here was from here to here, and so a normal stroke might be that. You could turn the razor and then do that same motion, and so it's more like a plow, or a guillotine coming at your hair across like this instead of perpendicular to the stroke. J-hooking is, I've done it a little bit. It's kind of like this, where you're going to turn your wrist like that, and you could of course do it backwards as well. Definitely takes some careful practice, because if you turn too soon and you travel too much, you could have that blade moving across your skin instead of kind of against it, and get a real good cut that way. But if properly done, that can really help you get some trouble spots if you want to try to do that. There are some videos out there, YouTube, to help you with J-hooking if you want to learn how, from somebody who has more experience with it than I do. Nice close shave on my neck. There's a few tips there with some length on it, but no big deal. I'm very happy with it, and a wonderful cut, close cut on my cheeks, and the other side of my neck that's less problematic. So comfortable, close cutting, very happy with it. 16th use now on this razor. I don't see it changing very much. Like I said, the first few uses, first 4 or 5, had an extra little edge about them that made them cut a little better, but then a slight downgrade in quality to maybe from 100% to 98% as close. And that is what has been continuing on now, from maybe the 6th shave or so to now the 16th. And so I don't know when the next drop might be. I don't know if it's going to keep going like this for another 30 shaves. We'll see. If it gets going too long, then I'll slow down my use of this blade. I wanted to use this one because I thought maybe 20, 25 could be about when I might stop with this one. And maybe even 15, I didn't know. And so if it does look like it's really going to start going the distance, I'll bring in some more variety with some double-edged razors. I do have some with me here. And then we'll just keep going on this blade and eventually see how long he will last me. They are different than the double edge because they're thicker, and so they do present some different properties. And so I don't think it's going to go as long as a double edge will. Time for me to clean up. I think so. Actually, now's a great time for the balm. Try this soap. Balm, I said balm, I mean liniment. By declaration, Grooming. And I think one of their purposes was to, as I add a little bit of water to my face to help it spread around. Try that soap is a wonderful website. It's a great reference if you are interested in researching a soap and you want to know what the scent notes are, what the manufacturer's original description is, because a lot of makers will, when they discontinue a soap, or sometimes even if it merely goes out of stock, it just won't appear on their website anymore. And so then how do you know? If you're curious about what the scent notes are, how do you find it? Well, trythatsoap.com is your money saver there, and saves your bacon. Let's put it that way. They also have scent notes, and of limited value is because they store the scent notes as individual pieces. If you're interested in honeysuckle, for instance, you can punch in honeysuckle as a note and find all these soaps that have honeysuckle in it. Unfortunately, it has no way of prioritizing or saying, well, this one's primarily honeysuckle, so this one should come at the top of the list, or honeysuckle is in this one, but it's such a tiny note, but it is mentioned, and so his website can't tell the difference between each of those. But at least it's better than nothing, right? And it may help you to find something if you like a particular type of scent or particular note in a scent. All right, yep, cleaning up. And this is what he looks like after a good towel stropping. Got a little bit of width here. It's going to keep on growing. More and more bristles will come out and join the outliers there. And just a terrific little brush. These premium grade bristles are very nice And even though they have that strength down below here, the tips very soft and give you a luxury feel, that's for sure. So I think maybe a 23-second load, roughly. I went back for another, I'm guessing, 3 seconds in addition to the 20. And almost 4 teaspoons. 3.5 teaspoons were used. And I think by the time if you added the additional, soap and everything, I think that was a really pretty good ratio. And I was definitely happy though with the performance, even toward the end, to where a lot of that extra soap had worn off, but still performance and just the feel, even during the rinses, was tremendous. The scent of the soap is enveloping, and it's not overly strong. It's different enough. But it's not overwhelming. It's not a bully, but it's interesting and quirky and dark. I really enjoy it. There is some fruitiness with this liniment that it still works with the Hallows, but it does take your experience off in a slightly different direction. But I want to use it up before it goes bad, and I do enjoy the scent quite a bit. And the Hallows it's funny, as I'm moving around the bathroom here, I'm coming into places where the Hallows is more prevalent, and so I'm able to kind of enjoy both of them. Yeah, I'm sorry, I forgot what I was going to say. We're all cleaned up, and it was a great shave, really nice. I'm happy with where this blade is right now, so it could definitely keep on trucking. Hallows is just tremendous. The case I've been carrying my guy around in, this is the one from AliExpress that I got on sale for about $7 shipped, but a normal price I think is $10 shipped or $11, and I'd say it's definitely worth that. But I will bring you the spearhead case here soon. And if you have a case that has a magnet, then you can take your blade and put it between the two magnets, and it holds it pretty nicely. I wouldn't travel with it this way probably, but if you're just carrying it if you're traveling, then from your bathroom to your bedroom or wherever you're staying, then it's definitely good for that kind of transportation. Really happy and cool with that. Well, there we go. I sure hope there's something in this video to help you guys out. I am just really enjoying this scent. Just excellent. And you guys take care. This is Sugar Daddy Shaves. Have a good night.